Hello everyone, welcome to The Lit Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Fee. I'm super excited to bring you an original book tag. It's the Half Human Heroes book tag in celebration of the launch of the Half Human Heroes fantasy anthology book. It's May 15, which means it's our release day. You can now get the book in paperback or as an ebook on Amazon.com. To celebrate, we're doing this original tag. This tag has prompts for each of the authors, collaborators in the anthology, and of course, ask you to tag people at the end. The information is also posted down in the description below, along with a link if you want to go purchase the book. The foreword for the book is written by Philip Chase, so our first prompt is to give a shout out to someone in the Fantasy BookTube community. We were really honored to have Philip Chase write the foreword to the book. It's amazing, talking about community, and it's got some funny lines in there. I was not expecting it to be humorous as well, and that was a real delight. For this prompt, I'm going to give a shout out to Steve over there at Steve Talks Books. He just did his weekend update, and he got his copy of Half Human Heroes in the mail, which was really nice to see. But he does an awesome job connecting many authors in the community. He does a lot of author interviews, indies, as well as self-publishing, and some traditionally published authors as well. He even recently inspired P.L. Stewart to start a YouTube channel, so I guess I'm giving a shout out to P.L. Stewart as well. The next prompt for the short story Dishonoured in Death by Mason Adey, known here on BookTube as Mason in the Dark, with TagTuesday and his amazing audio stories that he does. The prompt is, who are your favorite sibling characters in a story? And you know, I'm a diehard Star Wars fan. I just have to stop myself from talking about Star Wars all the time. So I've got to answer Luke and Leia, the Skywalker twins. There are a lot of great twins in literature. If I was going to answer with fantasy, I would say Raistlin and Caraman, the twin brothers from the Dragonlance saga. The two of them are such great characters that they are in the majority of the Dragonlance books. Even after the main story, the spin-off stories often focus on them or feature them in some capacity. It's a nice dynamic seeing the differences between the two brothers and how they support each other. The next prompt is from the short story Goatman's Bridge by P.M. Brown. What is your favorite story with the supernatural in it? So excited to have this story, Goatman's Bridge. It does have a supernatural element. Slight spoiler there. I think it's a lot of fun to have ghosts appear in stories as well as supernatural elements. I recently read The Wolf Gift and The Wolves of Midwinter by Anne Rice, and I was expecting werewolves. I was surprised that that saga also had supernatural, that it had ghosts in it. I don't know if it's my favorite supernatural, but it's pretty good. And it's something that I don't really hear people talk about very often. Up next, we've got the prompt for The Band Gets Together by Dane Cobain. Dane Cobain wrote a really fun rock and roll connected story here. The prompt is, what is your favorite story that incorporates music? I would have to say Patrick Rothfuss's The Name of the Wind and its sequel, The Wise Man's Fear. It's a great series for music. The main character is a musician. He sings and he plays his musical instrument to great effect. And the 10th anniversary cover art really did a great job featuring that. The next prompt is for Home of the Gnome by Jeremy Fee. That's me. That's my story. The prompt is, what is your favorite playful or interesting title? And I was inspired, as I talked in my last video, to title this story after Empire of the Vampire, that same sort of similar sound that's given there. So it's only fair that I put Empire of the Vampire right here in this place. If you have not read that story, it is a fun fantasy story, and it has a lot of unexpected elements. The next prompt is for Jessica Haas's story, Abandoned Hope. Jessica Haas, if you've not been following her, she is also known here on BookTube as Just the Book Freak. The prompt for this one is, what is your favorite moral quandary in a story where a character has a moral dilemma, difficult decision to make, philosophically, psychologically, morally, ethically? And for this one, I'm going to go with a classic that I read back in high school, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. That is a story with a main character who truly has an epiphany at the right moment to help him with his difficult moral decision. Up next, we've got Amaranthine Amphitheater by Liam Q.D. Hall. Liam has been getting short stories published in magazines. I suggest you go check out his YouTube channel, Liam's Lyceum, if you're not already subscribed to it. This prompt is, who is your favorite immortal character? This story that he wrote is really amazing because the character, first sentence, right there you find out, first paragraph, the character's dying. It's the last few moments of the character's life. But as a twist, it's an immortal character, which gets you to thinking, who really is your favorite immortal character? How does that work? And for this, I'm going to go with the version of Loki that is in the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That is a very playful, fun Loki, and he has faked his death multiple times throughout the series, and through multiverse shenanigans is back in the Disney Plus series. The next prompt is for S.D. Huston's story, Lies of the Sunstone and the Hybrid Prince. This is a really fun story in which the main character is trying to steal something, which begs the prompt, who is your favorite thief character or story with a heist in it? I'm gonna go with The Hobbit, good old Bilbo Baggins. It's a lot of fun looking back at those stories. Granted, it's been years since I read The Hobbit, but that is an interesting burglar thief character, mainly because, uniquely in literature, he doesn't set out to be a thief. He doesn't want to burgle. It does end up being his journey, though. Next up, for the short story Red Eyes by K.Y. Kark, couple Yosef Kark, known here on BookTube as A Couple Books, we've got the prompt, what is your favorite story with an adventuring party or found family in it? This story, Red Eyes, that couple wrote, is interesting because it comes across kind of like a D&D adventuring party, but clearly they have a lot of tension, a lot of strife. There's clearly something going on where some of them don't like each other. It got me thinking about adventuring parties and how they're put together. There are a lot of fun adventuring parties out there in different stories. And for this one, I'm going to go with the Drist series by R.A. Salvatore because Drist ends up with a really great group around him that end up calling themselves the Companions, which is a nice name for an adventuring party. I grew up reading those stories, and at least back in the 90s and early 2000s, they were a lot of fun to read. I need to get back to reading the ones that I skipped and some of the newer ones. For our next prompt, we've got Margaret Pinard's story, More or Less Human, with the prompt, what is your favorite story with a surprise twist or reveal in it? Mild spoilers, there's a twist. It happens right at the beginning of the story, though. Margaret Pinard does a great job with a short story painting a romantic scene that then kind of vertigos its way right into a twist and then gives you more little crumbs of information along the way to figure it all out. My favorite short story with a twist is The Lottery by Shirley Jackson. It's a classic. It's a wonderful story to read multiple times and go back and really just be in awe of the great writing with the foreshadowing and the clues. Once you know the ending, being able to then pick up on all of it. But I also really like movies like Ocean's 11 and 12 and 13 where there's some sort of surprise going on with the heist and there's a twist to how they're pulling it off because there's someone that they can't trust and so they're manipulating each other in the story. And our next prompt comes from David Wiley's story, The Defense of Burgond. For this one, I'm asking, what is your favorite battle in a story? There are so many books that have great combat in them, great battles in them. If you want, you can just name your favorite book with combat and fighting in it. For this, my mind immediately thinks of science fiction with the Red Rising series. The main character, Darrow, in Red Rising has to pull off really amazing military strategy. But especially by the time you get to book 2, they are doing space combat in ways that I had never imagined sci-fi space combat as happening. happening. Definitely book 2 of the Red Rising series, I think, really stands out as some of the best when it comes to combat. And of course, it's a tag, so I highly encourage you to tag people. I am automatically going to tag all of the authors, collaborators involved with the book, but I also want to tag some of my favorite people here on BookTube who do a great job of commenting all the time. No pressure if you're busy right now, but hopefully you'll eventually get around to the tag, and you do not have to read the book in order to do the tag, of course, though as the person responsible for putting together Half Human Heroes, I highly encourage you to get the ebook or the physical book, or why not both. Chris Reviews, who's always having fun over there with her ferrets over on her channel and her Instagram, you're tagged. Alan over there at Big Heart Books and Classics, always tagging me and stuff, you're tagged. Joanna, who is one of several people who's been kind enough to let me know she's already planning to order the book, and I really appreciate that. I'm also going to tag John from Hey Y'all Listen Up, because I believe that this has the kind of stories that he likes to read. And the duo of Tony and Kate over there at An Erudite Adventure. I also think that these are the kind of stories that they like to read and should be right up their alley for the kind of stuff that they review on their channel. I'd love to tag everyone, but I've only got so much time to make the video, so consider yourself tagged if you'd like to do this tag. But that's it for today's video. Every day is a good day for a book talk. Peace.